fellow vault dwellers, this is Chef Breccia. Earlier today, Turtle posted a video on armor penetration and asked if anybody had a easier approach if they would please share it. Well, I kind of do, and I'm sharing that information now. The key issue is in this part of the formula right here. As you can see, there is a maximum amount that you can possibly get through, 99%. Your armor penetration is maxed out when you get to that same level, and at that point, adding more will not have any more effect on the amount of damage that you do. I was able to simplify the equation to this part. The armor penetration that you need is mostly reliant on this ratio right here, which is how much damage your weapon does compared to your target's armor. Now, the reason behind this being ratio-based is simple. The game wants a standard formula at which your opponent's armor scales up to match the type of weapons that you should be using. At some point, you can find yourself a weapon which is so powerful that most of the damage simply naturally gets through, like you're throwing a rock at a window. By contrast, if you're still using weaker weapons, like you're using rubber bands up against a brick wall. So just to get a baseline to get things started, let's take a look at what happens when the amount of damage you're doing is exactly equal to your opponent's armor. Just a heads up, this is not a great place to be. If your opponent is a level 54 Scorched, that means that you're using a hardened hunting rifle with no perks or legendary effects. Most of your opponent's armor is going to eat up almost all of the weapon damage. As Turtle showed in his video, you need a large amount of armor penetration in order to get past this defense. The maximum amount of damage that you do will happen at armor penetration at roughly 85%. Let's take a look at another example. What would happen if your damage was double your opponent's armor? To give an example of where that sort of thing might happen, this is you using an Instigating Prime Western Revolver with all 3 maxed out Gunslinger cards against a max level Scorched. Under those circumstances, as you can see, the armor penetration you would need would still be high, but it would be less. 70% armor penetration would still cause you to do maximum damage. Now, the other end of the spectrum, things get much worse. If the damage you're doing per shot is half of your opponent's armor, for example, an unmodified, no-perk 10mm pistol used up against a level 54 Scorched, you are not going to be doing much damage at all. You would need over 92% armor penetration in order to get through and cause maximum damage. As Turtle showed in his video, because armor penetration stacks multiplicatively, this amount is effectively impossible. You're just going to have to use more bullets. Sorry. Now that we've established a baseline of 70 to 85% armored penetration for a lot of circumstances, can we look in the other direction? Can you do so ridiculously high damage that armor penetration isn't necessary at all? Well, yes. As you can see here, the amount of damage that you would have to do would have to be 6.465 times the amount of your opponent's armor. This is shotgun versus rad roach territory. This is bloodied missile launcher with all of the perks, a bobblehead, and psycho buff up against a feral ghoul territory. So while it is possible, you may be asking a little bit too much to get that to happen routinely. I hope what you see here helped, if only a little bit. Please stay subscribed to Angry Turtle for more Wasteland-related science, and maybe I'll see you again sometime.